So are alien abductions a real phenomena? Are they true or are they correct? Michael Knowles had his second sit down with Timothy Alberino, and they discussed a lot of things, but the one that I want to focus in on this episode is alien abductions, because it was very interesting, the whole conversation that they talked about. My name is Brandon Fogel. This is Evolution. Let's dive into this. All right, so there are a few clips I want to show, and we're going to just break it down, because when I haven't got into the whole alien abduction thing per se, really, I do immediately come to it skeptical, because does it go against the Bible? Say alien abductions are real, aliens are real. I actually think aliens are real, but these alien abductions that are happening right here now, I always come to it like, really? Would that crush my Christian faith if these are happening? And I kind of want to maybe just flesh this out before we look at the clips. I'm saying aliens, I think that they are really out there. And when I say aliens, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I do think that there is something out there. And then I guess I just immediately think if someone says I was abducted, I don't, my antenna goes up. I don't immediately think that they might have just been hallucinating. Something might have been going on in that arena. So I guess it does kind of go against, because I'm saying one thing and another, but I'm just telling you how it is. I'm always just going to tell you what I think. And what I haven't fully fleshed this out, because this was just released yesterday, or their sit down and them talking about this. So, but yeah, I wanted to just kind of look at this and see, and also get what do you all think about this? Would this melt or crush the Christian worldview if these things are happening? And before I go any further, let's just take a first look at the first clip, because Timothy's going to break down this. This is happening all over the world, but then it seems like all of these events from everybody from all different walks of life are saying the same kind of thing is happening to them when you really dive into it. And they're going to get into the implants that are in people that they're finding from these abductions, but that's going to be in the next clip. This one right here is just the common theme of what is actually happening every time somebody gets taken up by these extraterrestrials.
A beam of light in the room, or a flash of light, and then a little gray guy appears, or usually three little gray guys appear in the room. Bald, diminutive, gray people, yeah, right, with large almond-shaped black eyes. And usually the first thing that happens is these entities will come up to the abductee, who again is immobilized, yeah, awake but immobilized, and they'll look into their eyes and they'll communicate telepathically with them and attempt to calm them down. And then they extract the abductee from the bedroom, in this case. And that usually happens through a beam of light that's projected into the room, and they go through the beam of light, through the window, up into the craft. If the craft is not in proximity, then what happens is that the little gray guys, little gray aliens, will hold the abductee by the hand. They'll walk them through the house, down the stairs, out the front door, across the front yard, across the field, into the woods, into a clearing in the woods where the craft has landed. And then...
Okay, so say you were taken up by an alien. Not to my recollection, I have not been. But say I started telling people that I was, and I think a lot of people that have been abducted, they're not out there broadcasting it all the time. Some people will, some people don't. But you would immediately think the person was crazy. So like, I'm trying to be as sober as possible when I discuss this, and I don't want to just feed into sensationalism, because I don't necessarily want this to be true. I don't really want people being abducted, but I also do think there is something out there. There's something out there, and whether you could say it's fallen angels impersonating aliens or whatever, but what is an angel itself? Wouldn't it be an extraterrestrial outside of this realm? We might just the Bible, because it becomes Bibleese, and we're just used to if the Bible says it, oh, we put it in its own label, but it might be speaking about something that in our vernacular is aliens. Aliens, angel, like almost there is an equivalency there. Is that possibly what's going on? Because there are physical manifestations of angels that are described multiple times throughout the Bible, and they look like men. They have different characteristics, but just because it's in the Bible, like I think it's easy just to shift one thing as opposed to the other. I'm gonna put on my scientific hat over here, and then I'm gonna put my Bible hat over here, and never the two shall mix. But maybe there is some mixture in there. So because I think that there is going to be something that's gonna. What event would cause all the world to come together? Something outside of this world. That's the only thing I could even think of that would bring everybody together into this one world government, or one world, just everybody linking arms together, throwing down all divisions, and then that would also cause something to happen that people would, if an alien invasion happened, people would immediately throw out the Bible, because now we got real things happening. And the Bible was just a time for, our early beginnings as a human species. Now we're actually evolved, and we're seeing something in front of us, because in the Bible, it talks about when all this stuff is going to hit the fan, that there's going to be a massive rebellion, and people that are not not Christians, they're already rebelling. They're out. So it's not in that viewpoint, but there's going to be a massive rebellion within the community of faith. And what would cause the community of faith to just be shattered in their faith if extraterrestrials came? That might be something that immediately might lose all faith, because now we're seeing aliens. But let's continue, because now we're going to get into the implants, because this was there's a lot of different details that for every person that they experience when these occurrences happen. But one of them that just lasts with them, there's that these things are implanted into them, and that they actually have these. And he's going to talk about a few people out there that have them now, and a lot of times doctors just don't want to touch them, because it's going into surgery and kind of taking them out.
Dr. Larry, he passed away, would go to extract these implants. They would evade him in the body. So they're mobile, they move around. And then the third thing about them is that they seem to be composed of like nanotubes, nanotechnology. And these have been extracted from abductees. Abductees have had them fall out of their noses, their nasal cavity, after an abduction episode. So I think all abductees are implanted. I mean, we have, not me, but abduction researchers have the implants that have come out of people's bodies.
So how do the skeptics explain that? Like me, how do I explain that?
There is no explanation. So really, let's say inside of ufology, there's two camps. So among people who believe in an extraterrestrial presence or whatever it is, non-human intelligence.
Yeah.
Some of them believe that the abductions are actually happening and that the gray aliens are perpetrating this phenomenon. Others think that the government is perpetrating this phenomenon.
Yeah.
If people are being abducted, and there is, because there's sometimes that it says that people are impregnated, and then these fetuses in them, they live with them for a little bit, and then they get abducted again and taken away. And he also goes into that a lot of times it's that when it happens, the last thing that the people see is something behind them, or if they're in their room, they see a flash of light, and then they've had neighbors seeing people taken up to these spacecraft or something taken up there, and then time just stops. Time, but it is like in hyperspeed in a sense, but it stops here, and then they're immediately back. I say I'm skeptical about this stuff, but I don't want to be a person that is just immediate. I want to hear people out. I guess there's that balancing act, because I believe in outside worldly phenomena that that science cannot just explain everything. There's something beyond here, what we have right in front of us. So I guess there's that balanced, delicate act of just hearing people out. What is going on with these events? And since I haven't done the research myself, I'm taking it on Timothy's authority, Timothy Alberino's authority, and his immense research that he has had, like over a decade of looking into this, and knowing people that are not just kooks or just crazy people that he personally knows that have experienced these things. I know you can be very suggestible. It's easy to be suggestible to something. You say it over and over. It gets embedded in your mind, and then you just start experiencing it, maybe, because there are people who have a lot of things going on. Not everything that we have in front of us is always rational, and not everything that we're going to go through is always going to be measured and perfectly in tune with what is science. But there might be outside forces that are kind of just interacting with people, and we just gotta, I think I want to be as open-minded as possible, but have a skeptical vision of when I'm looking at it as well. I don't know if you have that same viewpoint, or if you're bought in one way or the other. I don't want to come to this because this, like I've said, I'm researching evolution itself and Darwinism, and I told you I would keep you updated on that. The more I am studying that, the more I am looking into that and researching that, it seems just like another faith of how this all came about. But even like highly intelligent people, they just accept it and just assume it. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm not immediately where, like, the science that is presented to me is not completely compelling that I have to jump on board. And so I'm going to continue to study evolution and Darwinism and explain what my viewpoint of it, because I'm going to have as much as I can, a sober view of these things, and just give you how it is. I'm not going to be sensational about stuff. I'm going to tell you if it seems bunk. And right now, evolution and all of that, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying that all of that, that we just evolved as a species didn't happen, but it seems like it's just another faith. It seems like it's just another faith. You're just taking it on other people's authority. And I guess that's how we do a lot of things. But on this last clip, this is those implants that are being put into people. I wanted to show you this. He actually says that certain people have them, and he's gonna throw out a pretty big name that you will be aware of.
When you do extract them, again, they seem to be covered in a membrane, some kind of an organic membrane, and they're very, very difficult to cut, really hard to cut. They've looked at them with the electron microscopes, and they've discovered, as I said before, like nanotubes. So there seems to be some kind of a nanotechnology is associated with these things. But quite a few of them have been extracted from abductees.
So where are they? I want to see one of these things.
Well, Lear had some. It's rumored that Steven Spielberg has some. I've got people who come to me right now. I've got a couple of people who have identified an implant and they want to get it extracted and analyzed. So there.
Okay. So Steven Spielberg might have one. I mean, that'd be the guy you would think of, maybe, I don't know. But if certain people have these things and they are in people's bodies, it says they're evasive, they're not easy to pull out, they're not easy to get, and they would be dangerous doing it. And a lot of people don't know that they have them in them, but then they're discovered by X-ray or something that just shows them, and then it brings to remembrance this event that happened to them that they probably just suppressed and just pushed it away. Other memories were put into them. This is kind of Men in Black stuff, but whether things are out there. I already think things are out there, that there are aliens out there. I just hadn't gone down this route of people actually being abducted. So it's very interesting to me. I think I'm more on the side of Michael Knowles. He doesn't immediately buy into it, but Timothy Alberino is very convincing, and he's very measured. He's not a crazy guy just saying this stuff. And he doesn't really put himself on the many things that he discusses. He doesn't just say, "Oh, it's true, it's true." But this, it seems like he really believes that people are being abducted, or at least the evidence is there that these events are taking place. I guess you got to hear everybody at their own, what they're when they describe what they went through. But it's very interesting to me. I'm glad that these guys talked about it. So if you'd like to continue this conversation, hit this link right here, and I will see y'all in the next one.
I could see the cracks form in the paint, growing like a fire. What do I say? Can you see them? Can you see?